PCD, PCD, PCDcast.
So as we launch PCDcast, we're going to be giving you a glimpse behind the scenes as I talk to different members of the team about what they do here at the company and how they're helping us grow. I'm going to start off by talking to my wife and co-director, Sophie Bell, about PCD and what we're going to do with it over the coming months and years. So, Sophie Bell.
Yes, David Bell.
It's our interview. I'm going to be interviewing you now about your background and experience and your role at PCD.
When's my birthday?
I can't divulge that information, but Soph, how do you describe what you do at PCD?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a small business, so I do a bit of everything. I officially signed on as a bookkeeper, but that is a tiny part of my day if I manage to get a chance to do any of it. I did file the VAT return yesterday. But I also do all sorts, project management type things, website projects, working with the team to make sure we deliver the events as best we can, pay all the bills, generally help with the progress of the company and developing the different things that we do.
And so what's your background? What are you interested in?
So I have quite a techie background, I suppose. My degree was psychology and AI. I then trained as an accountant. So I love techie type things. The kind of accountancy I specialised in was forensic accounting, so I like puzzles and solving puzzles, and problem solving generally, I suppose, is where
That's good because we've got a lot of problems, so that's helpful.
Whenever you have a technical problem, you call me. I know that much. It's generally that the cables just come loose. I can just plug it back in. But so I'm the technical help desk of the office. So that's.
And what do you like about your job?
It is quite full on. There's always something to do and it's varied. It wasn't supposed to be varied. I'm supposed to just do the bookkeeping, but it has developed into quite a varied role, and I get to think about different things. I get to be a bit creative with what we do, which isn't normally part of an accountant's role, and manage a business and work with a great team of people.
And what's exciting? What do you think is most exciting about what we're developing in the different ideas we're working on?
Well, there's lots of different elements to what we're doing. Like just doing events is sort of even from behind the scenes, it's sort of an adrenaline-fueled world. You've got deadlines that aren't moving. You've got a couple of hundred people turning up to an event. You've got no margin to push anything back. So that sort of poses its own challenges that can be exciting. So there's one of the most exciting things about what we do is just juggling the huge volume of what we do. So we've got the events that have a fixed deadline that you can't move. We've got people turning up in an hour, and we have to have everything printed. We have to know where everyone's sitting, and we have to know everyone, things like that. And then working around that, it's working with all our media clients, making sure we deliver to deadlines and that they're happy with the work that we're doing. And then developing new ideas and new products, looking at engagement of our customers, looking how we can help them with their businesses, and what works on social media, LinkedIn, and how to connect people in a digital space.
And what about podcasts? I mean, we both like listening to podcasts, but what do you enjoy tuning into?
Well, one of my favourites is the Off Menu podcast, which is a simple but great concept. For those of you who haven't listened to it, I recommend it. It's two comedians, James Acaster and Ed Gamble, and they're talking to a different person each week about their dream menu. And it's just really, the thing I like about it is over the course of an hour with someone, you really get to know them a little bit and get a real insight into their life by just hearing about what they like to eat. And obviously, that's two comedians running the podcast, so there's a lot of humor in it, which I love, and it's just a nice thing to listen to with the kids, although it's a bit sweary sometimes.
And what about on the business front? Are there podcasts you like listening to that give you business ideas?
One of my favorite podcasts is the Social Media Marketing Podcast with Michael Stelzner. I find that really interesting. Each week they sort of bring in a different expert to talk about a different element of social media. So you have maybe YouTube one week, LinkedIn the next, it might be TikTok the next week. And it's just interesting to sort of stay in the know about all the different options there are out there, the latest algorithms that might be affecting things. And it just, I find it interesting chat each week.
And what do you think about the potential for the way people buy professional services to be disrupted by like Google, YouTube? You know, we feel like we're on the cusp of a new era in the way that people buy services like that. What's your take on what that might mean for some of our customers?
I think it's a huge disruptor. People will find their advisors in such a different way now to how they did 20 years ago. And AI is developing at a pretty rapid pace right now. You know, it's not inconceivable that in a few years' time, people will be asking Siri who their lawyer should be. And so it's really important to think about your existence in the digital space.
Because to run to catch up might not be feasible in that world, or the longer you've got a track record, the better you're going to fare.
Yeah, and as we've learned, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
And the longer you take to get in the game, the harder it is, because you've got better examples around you, and you've suddenly got to go from, well, I've never sat in front of a camera before, to I'm professional in front of a camera trying to create something interesting. And it's involving a pretty fast pace. So, you know, to try and develop content that's interesting when the sort of thing that people are talking about is quite dry. Tax law isn't particularly interesting. And so it is a real challenge. And so if you leave it too late, I think it's going to be problematic to try and get in that game. Now is perfect time because people are forgiving. People's expectations aren't particularly high, but give it another few years and that's a higher benchmark you're going to be reaching.
And I mean, how might people think about, I mean, people are obviously worried about like AI in a sense of it taking their job. But I mean, there's lots of AI-driven tools that people can use in marketing and professional services today. What do you think people should be thinking about in terms of AI and marketing in a positive fashion, in a very implementable way?
I think whilst it is fast-paced, it's not as fast-paced as people might think. I went to university a few years ago now, and when I was at university studying AI, the technology was there for driverless cars. And it was proven then that they were safer than drivers because they don't drink, they don't take drugs, and they don't drive when they're tired. So, you know, the argument was there a few decades ago, I'm afraid to say, that driverless cars were a way to go. But here we are, and, you know, we're not, unfortunately, there are no driverless cars. I need it before our kids are the age where they're learning to drive. But so the idea that AI is just going to take over everything overnight, I don't think is right. But what it can do, if to use the analogy of cars again, you've now got cars that will parallel park for you. Everyone hates parallel parking, and it's lovely to think that in the future no one will have to worry about parallel parking at least. So if you apply that to the marketing world, the tools that are out there now, say with writing, it can be difficult to come up with copy. And you can get some tools there that just give you a spark, just give you an idea of what you can be talking about and get you started. And then you've just got to edit the copy that an AI tool has generated. And you do have to edit it, and you do have to read through it, and you do have to make sure the tone is right for you. But it can really reduce the amount of time you're spending writing copy. And there are tools out there that will go out and read everything for you and summarize it for you. So, I mean, that's as someone who's quite a slow reader, I find that a really useful tool to help with the process of research. So there are tools out there that can just speed up the process. They can't take over the process, but it gives you then more time to spend on other parts of marketing. So the creative side, the analytical side, the thinking about how to target your clients, how to bring an entertainment value, all those sorts of things an AI tool can't do for you at the moment.
Well, thank you for talking to me, Soph. I thought that was actually very interesting.
You sound surprised.
Yeah, I am a bit surprised. No, I'm not surprised, because I know that you're all over these topics, so that's why it was great to record this chat, and look forward to seeing you at home.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast to make sure you don't miss the next time on PCDcast.